Welcome into this Tuesday edition of the Oxford Exxon podcast. Chase Parham, Neal McCready, Clark Ford Studio this morning, just a few days away from Ole Miss and Texas Tech, 11 a.m. from Houston on Saturday. We'll have plenty of coverage at rebelgrove.com leading up to it. And then obviously the game as well. Matt Luke, Wesley McGriff, Phil Longo spoke to the media yesterday. You can see what they said on the site at rebelgrove.com, and we'll talk about it a good bit this morning as well. The podcast brought to you every single day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. Make sure you download the Speed Pass Plus. That is an easy way to save money and be efficient with your fuel buying there. At any Blue Sky location in Mississippi, they will help you out. It is easy. Just download the Speed Pass Plus app. And then a reminder, a few days away, but Sunday, September 2nd, Monday, September 3rd, Labor Day special at the Oxford Exxon. 2 slabs of ribs for $25, 3 slabs of ribs for $33. So a little early planning, take advantage of that, and feed your friends and relatives for Labor Day from the Oxford Exxon here in a few days. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford Studio.
We are. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900. Call the number. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what new Ford or what Ford you're looking for. Maybe get a couple of quotes. He'll send them to you within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. There's none of the haggling, none of the hassle. It's you ask for a quote, you get a quote. And then from that point, it's up to you. You can shop that quote around, or you can let Corey and the people at Clark Ford do for you what they've done for me and so many other listeners of the podcast, and that's take the hassle out of the everyday car buying experience. It's simple. It's easy. And you get a great product, great service, phenomenal service after the sale. It's just fantastic. You'll love it. Make it even better for you. Tell Corey that you heard about Clark Ford on the podcast. You'll get $500 off the bottom line on your deal at Clark Ford and Amory, 662-257-1900.
So this podcast may or may not have an intro on it. I don't know the answer to that right now because, as you know by now, I'm on my phone and computer a little bit each day. I bragged on myself yesterday for not picking up my computer over the weekend. Come to find out, had I used it over the weekend, probably would have died even sooner last night. I was doing a fantasy football draft around 8 o'clock. I had the fourth pick, and I hit the player. I hit submit. It went up online, and then when I went to change tabs to go to whatever it was I was looking for, because I had, I guess, 20 picks later or whatever for pick 2, the mouse didn't move. The trackpad didn't move. The arrow stayed in the corner of the screen. I got a little frantic quickly. Turned it off, turned it back on, same thing. Googled on my phone what to do, followed a couple of those directions, same thing. And then I got a weird image on my computer that I still to this moment don't understand what it's actually asking me to do. I think it believes that an external mouse should be plugged up, so it is clearly some form of trackpad issue. It might be a battery issue as well, but we'll have the diagnosis hopefully later today. But I am without machine right now. I've got about a $1,500 doorstop or paperweight in my possession.
As much as we use computers for what we do, I told you this already, I think anything over 2 years, and I can hear people out there going, oh, you get a computer last 10 years. No, I mean, it's a different deal. You're using it constantly. You're adding software to it. It never gets a break. Anything over 2 years, you're getting gravy.
I do wonder, however, we always go, just because of the ease of use and the connectivity to Apple, there probably is a much better machine for what I do that is not Apple.
Oh,
honestly.
There's probably no question about it.
Probably buy the wrong thing.
But the Apple connects with your phone. If you were,
it syncs my life up in a way that I appreciate.
If you only used it for work, well, yeah, there's probably a better machine. But you don't just use it for work.
Although I have noticed myself, and I know a lot of people go, oh, my God, this is the devil. I have noticed myself linking my life more to Amazon than Apple lately, just because of Alexa and a lot of different things, including our TV systems and different things. I have noticed that just from an operating system standpoint, I have started using Alexa more than Siri, and Amazon more than Apple. But either way, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm about 2 to 3 weeks into not linking my life to much of anything. Not being on social. I watched the Cubs and Mets last night without getting on Twitter.
It's a different viewing experience.
It was
not positively or negatively, just different.
No, it was better.
Was it better?
Oh, it was better.
You think so?
Absolutely.
See, I kind of like the interaction. I like the follow.
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more.
Okay.
It was just kind of, I just watched the game. I caught myself just kind of chill. Not as much
Pay
reading
attention
stuff.
more.
Yeah, I actually saw more of the game. I noticed that, like, for example, there was a lot of talk about what the Cubs would do going into the game. Noah Syndergaard pitched for the Mets, about, how they've been hitting bad pitching. Could they hit good pitching now that Murphy's in the lineup? And they had one quality at-bat after another that I was watching pitch to pitch to pitch that I wouldn't have watched if I'm on Twitter. Literally, the only thing I went to Twitter last night was to see how Chris Bryant's rehab assignment was going in Omaha. That was it.
Do you use any technology for calendars or organizing or anything along those lines?
No, I should, but I don't.
Okay. See, that's the good thing that I do, and I'm sure I can find other ways to do this, but that is the one thing that's very, very easy, is using Siri to make appointments in my calendar, make notes, and then that all sync to all my different devices. So when I open my computer, I'm getting updates, and it's keeping everything kind of in check.
No, I should do that. Maybe it's being an old man. I just write it down.
Well, now I've gotten to the point where I pay more attention to it if I do write it down. Like I actually, while I was sitting in the car this morning, looking through for appointment books and different things in a written way to pick it up that way and just leave it in a brief, not double bag, briefcase, whatever. But
Like, I'm helping Campbell with a lot of her, not writing it, but helping her edit and review some of the stuff that she's doing for scholarship applications and such. And a lot of that stuff's
what kind of topics is she running into for essays and stuff?
Career-oriented stuff, books that she's read that
Made an impact.
made an impression, which has been good because it's forced me to tell my second child, see, you have to read. You probably, when you apply for scholarships in 2 years, you're probably not going to be able to talk about the Kardashians' impact on your life.
Well, that's a literary work. I mean,
Yeah. So, yeah.
I doubt they're all saying, well, The Catcher in the Rye, though, did this.
No, we talked about that. I mean, she was like, what would you do?
Because you can't fake it either.
No,
so it's got to be.
It's got to be a book that you read that moved you to some degree. So, and I told her, I said, don't try to impress them.
Yeah, that's not going to work.
Pick a book that really moved you. It can be pop culture. It doesn't have to be a literary.
Where the Red Fern Grows. I mean,
Sure. I mean,
that's a tearjerker there at the end.
Absolutely. I mean, there could be a lot of things. Whatever it is that made an impression on you. Because at first she was like, "Well, no book does that. I mean, I just enjoy books," and I'm like, "Well, that's the point. No books ever moved you to tears?" She's like, "Books have moved you?" She's like, "Yeah," but I said I could name 15 books off the top of my head that have moved me to tears. And it's okay. Just, it's funny. Kids don't. I think this generation's smarter than our generation. I do. I absolutely do. I look at kids like Carson and I think I was not that smart at 11. I was not that sophisticated at 11. The one thing that I notice, and I know for a fact we have educators that listen to this podcast, I don't think they read as much as we read.
No, there's no doubt about that. Multiple reasons.
And I think that, I won't say it's a mistake because I don't know. I just think it's interesting that they don't read. It's the one thing that worries me a little bit about college for Campbell is that my remembrance of college was that there was a lot of reading. And I wonder, is she conditioned, if you will, in the same way of if I said, hey, today we start running 15 miles. Today we run 15 miles. Yeah, but dude, I hadn't run a mile. Yeah, I don't give a damn. We're running 15 miles. Well, you're going to struggle. I mean, you're going to get to about 3 miles and go, I got 12 left. And it's going to be brutal. So I do question whether they are conditioned to read. And maybe this is where college has changed too. Maybe they don't read in college the way they used to.
And obviously it depends on majors to some extent. But I do think the average kid today does not traditionally communicate as well as prior generations.
No, there's no question about that.
Speaking, writing,
yeah.
those type of things.
You can try to have a conversation with some kids, a lot of kids, and they can't look up from their device. it's freaking frightening, that part of it. The lack of social interaction skill. I'll give Carson that, man. He'll look you in the eye and shake your hand, and he will converse with you. He will get out of his phone. He will. He's able to do that. But I see kids who they can't do it. They're absolutely in their iPad or their phone or whatever, and it's a security blanket. It's everything. It's an inability to communicate with an adult. Walk a college campus, man. Walk a college campus, any college campus. I've walked bunches of them here in the last year. This isn't just, you can do it at Ole Miss, and you can do it at Auburn, and you can do it at Arkansas, and you can do it at Louisiana Tech. You can do it at Oklahoma. I can speak this with authority. And the kids walk around in their phones. They walk around in their phones at all times.
I told you, though, I've said this 5 times probably on the show. I'll say it a 6, and I'll probably say it 25 more. In a lot of ways, I don't think it's really a complaint because from an individual standpoint, it's going to help your kid that doesn't do that. It's going to become not what we knew as normal from a communication standpoint is going to become upper tier now.
Viewed as exceptional.
Yes.
Yep.
Be a proficient thing for for people.
That's why I sit and just say, hey, good.
Like yesterday, the whole inside-out thing, bad outside, pretty good inside. So
yeah, I mean, I have people ask me sometimes, like younger people that want like a parenting tip. Here's a real simple parenting tip. And your kid's younger than mine, hopefully, so he or she can't steal my kids' jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Teach them to look in the eye and to shake hands. Stuff that, like Chase is saying, stuff that we did as kids that was normal. No one thought anything of it. Teachers and stuff notice it now. They're like, oh, look at that, a handshake.
Basic communication, thank you cards.
Oh, yeah. Communication 101 stuff.
Yeah.
Handwritten.
Things you would learn on day one of one of these conferences where they teach etiquette and different things.
A handwritten thank you card. Handwritten, not typed up on a computer and printed. Handwritten thank you card.
The email that goes, hey, enjoyed it. Peace.
Yeah. That's the one thing, man. You know, a pet peeve of mine. This is crazy. It's one of the reasons that I will never coach another team again, I think.
Okay.
So you'd send out the email to say practice Thursday 5:30, field 7 at FNC. Please email back to confirm.
Okay.
Literally respond with got it, send. How long does that take? Out of, say, 14 kids on a team, you'd get 2 responses. It's unbelievable. The single most unbelievable thing in our society today is the inability just to communicate. Respond. Got it. Carson's new soccer coach.
You could do a thumbs up emoji in that bad boy, and you're
Carson's
all good.
new soccer coach sends a text before each practice. It's just a confirmation. And I like it. I guarantee you there are parents that hate it. I love it. It tells me, reminder or whatever, practice 5:30 to 7, FNC, field
yeah,
whatever. Are you in or out? So that he can plan for practice. Because you're going to have a different practice format for 20 kids than you would for 40 kids, or for 20 kids than you would for 9 kids. So it's for his planning purposes. Are you in or out? I always just get it. I hit I in, send, which is my way of saying he's coming unless something terrible happens between now and then. He'll be there. I bet you his response rate, I've never asked him. I'll have to go ask him. He'll probably look at me like it's none of your damn business. I wonder what his response rate is. I bet it's less than 50%. People who can't be bothered to just text back in or out.
You're probably right, but on a more competitive team where people are a little more engaged, it's going to be higher than the general populace would be.
That's true. I bet if
it's a more engaged group.
I bet if I did that, let's say Carson wants to play OPC basketball this year.
It'd be much lower.
For fun.
Yeah, it'd be much
He
lower.
just wants to play for fun. And I bet you on that team the rate would be 20% or lower.
It's pretty low, but
If you made 20, the over-under, I'd go under. On a text that required you to just type in or out. 3 or 4 letters and hit send. I bet you the rate would be under 20%. And from my perspective, I mean, that happens to me, and I think it's pathetic. I judge when that happens. I completely judge.
I have to make sure I do it right away, or I do have tendencies to forget. If it's not immediate,
Right.
like I have Kara be like, hey, do you have to do that right now? I'm like, yes, I do, because if not, I will completely forget about it. Give me 90 seconds.
But that's my point. When you go to your email and you look at an email, like I got an email yesterday from someone going, hey, here's a reminder. I just went and did it right then. It was done. Took me a minute.
It's probably the topic for today's show. We had a pretty good podcast yesterday since our message board is littered from Cracker Barrel to mental health conversation and topics yesterday. So we've run the gamut.
Got a lot of feedback about the mental health
some
thing.
emails and different things.
A lot. That was really a reminder that the podcast has some power. That was because often I think, what the hell are we doing every morning?
Just talking to a microphone.
The Cracker Barrel thing, I'm not budging on that. I'm absolutely right that their coffee sucks. And 90% of the people agreed, and the other 10% of you're psychopaths. You need mental health.
Or you've just never had good coffee.
Or
you just drink bad coffee every day.
Or you drink bad coffee every day, at which point I'd like to help you.
Probably should take your chicory liqueur into Cracker Barrel and just get a little nip under the table to improve the coffee.
That would help it.
Well, it would drown it out. Yeah.
Yeah.
33% alcohol.
At that point, though, I would just, after spending too much time at Cracker Barrel, I would just tip the bottle like Jay Tate style and just.
You do have an issue with Cracker Barrel.
It's just not my thing.
Well, you wouldn't have gone to Denny's the other day.
No, I would have gone to Cracker Barrel.
I mean, I guess you could have gone to Waffle House. I like Waffle House. No, I can't help it. I enjoy the sideshow of people in Waffle House. Cracker Barrel makes me kind of depressed. Waffle House, I find excitement and sort of interest in
we're going to get to Ole Miss and Texas Tech and all the news of yesterday, but why is Cracker Barrel, why does it make you depressed?
I don't know. I'm not the skinniest dude in the world by far, but I got in there and I just went, I was like, I don't know. It's like everybody's tired in Cracker Barrel. It's usually on an interstate. It's, I'm usually there in the mornings. It's families with kids screaming. It's just everybody seems to be under some semblance of duress when you're in Cracker Barrel.
Yes.
There's kind of this is my 45 minutes to sit down, but it's not a break. I'm dealing with a kid. I'm trying to order some ham and an egg and get some coffee.
And there are some big people that walk through there.
Yeah, everybody there seems to have some type of malaise over them as they go in.
See, this is like me at a truck stop. It's always so depressing to me. I get back in my vehicle and
I think time of day matters. I think there are times of day where Cracker Barrel is just a normal restaurant. But like the other morning when I went at 9:30 on a Sunday morning, not that time.
No.
That's a getting on the interstate, stopping on the interstate, breakfast deal.
I always wonder when people do that, aren't you in a bigger hurry than this? And maybe it's the break from the stress. Let's
stretch our legs, really get a good 45-minute chill here, and then we'll keep on with our day.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Because I'm not a good driver or rider at all. I need at least one kind of, okay, let me chill for a minute, and then we'll get back in the car, and I'll go from there.
I'm pretty good about being a driver if it's one of those deals where, and I think it's one of the reasons that Carson and I do so well traveling together, is he doesn't mind if I put on a podcast, like a military history podcast, and he'll go turn some movies on in the back, and he'll put his headphones on, and he can just chill. And he knows, hey, if I got to go to the bathroom or if I want to get a drink, just say. Otherwise, we're going to keep rolling. It's like we got in the car that day in Norman after we'd done the 2 trips in 24 hours, and I said, I'm just going to put my foot down. Let me know when you need something. Otherwise, we're just going to roll. And we drove from Norman, Oklahoma to Oxford, Mississippi, stopped once for 5 minutes at a Chick-fil-A. We just rolled.
You got gas mileage to home?
I filled up just outside of Norman, and it got me all the way back.
Did it really?
Yep. For my Clark Ford.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
See, another benefit of Clark Ford and Amory.
There you go. You can get that chicory liqueur at Oxford Wine and Spirits. They are located next to Lost Pizza on College Hill Road. Go in, ask for it. Tell them the podcast sent you there. And when you get your packages for the weekend, tell them about that as well. If you spend $150 or more, they will take 5% off wine, 10% off liquor there at Oxford Wine and Spirits. Again, next to Lost Pizza on College Hill Road.
The podcast is also brought to you by Brian McLaurin. How well do you know your credit? Brian McLaurin's an experienced attorney offering a unique, highly personalized service to not only repair credit, but also educate clients on the ever-changing world of credit. He will work with you for an entire year to help you create a personalized plan to raise your credit score to help you meet your financial goals. No one else offers this kind of personalized credit counseling. It's why Gambrell and Associates refer their clients to Brian to get a fresh start. So whether you're looking to fight off debt collectors, get approved for home car loans, or for that luxury credit card, let Brian McLaurin get your credit fixed and teach you how to take control of your credit. Brian provides you the valuable information he's acquired through years of experience and research. It allows him to offer a unique, personalized service for anyone in any state. He's always available for his clients by phone, by email, and he's ready to work with you. Contact Brian at bhmclaurinlaw@gmail.com or call him at 662-298-2029. Podcast also brought to you by Harry Alexander. Harry is an Oxford-based RE/MAX Legacy Realty agent. He's been in Oxford more than 4 decades. No one knows the residential and condo market in Oxford better than he does. Go to his site. He'll prove it to you. It's harryalexander.com. Click on the Properties and Neighborhoods tab. Filter through by what you're looking for. And then send him an email. It's ha@harryalexander.com. Also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, look no further than Grenada Nissan. They have a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissans. They don't have it in stock. They'll get it for you. Great lease deals as well. I've shopped with Grenada Nissan for more than a decade. You can take my word for it. They're fantastic. The service is tremendous. They'll take great care of you. They'll go the extra mile for you. So if you're looking for a Nissan product, that's the place to go. Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com.
Then quickly, once you need a mortgage, Community Mortgage is the place to go. Memphis, Oxford, DeSoto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting, understands your market, a leader in condo financing and the float down options. So check them out with Jason Lowe. That's 662-234-2704 or JLowe, JLOWE, at communitymtg.com. So Matt Luke, Wesley McGraw, Phil Longo spoke to the media yesterday prior to the first game. For the most part, everybody pretty healthy. He said that A.J. Brown practiced yesterday, meaning Sunday. Braylon Sanders, DeMarcus Lodge did as well. Ken Webster did not, although he's expected to go today. Javian Hamilton practiced as well, and they thought they could probably get 20 snaps or so out of Sincere David, I believe is what Matt said there. Said the conditioning would be poor because he hadn't really practiced, but they would get what they could. So, you try to get through fall camp, you try to stay healthy, and it looks like for the most part, Neil, they've pulled that off, which is job one. That's A, B, and C for fall camp.
It's really impressive for a first-year head coach, and he is a first-year head coach. He was an interim coach last year, and that interim was emphasized. I think they've run a good camp. You can go into camp and you can do that macho, hey, we're going to show everybody how physical we are, and go into week one with about 13 injuries, which only gets you beat. Let you beat your chest about how physical you are, but it gets you beat. They didn't have the depth to do that. Maybe in 3 or 4 years, if all goes well, they'll have the depth and they can have one of those physical, let's see who the tough guys are camps. But they weren't there yet. It sounds like everyone's going to go pretty much. So,
I mean, off the top of my head, I guess the only people that aren't going are Devon Penniman.
And that was
that's predetermined, obviously.
Yeah,
but
they knew he wasn't going to go.
That's it.
That's about it.
Yeah. Everybody else is okay.
I mean,
Alex Givens seems to have stayed healthy through camp.
Yeah, if you can't be healthy for the opener, that's usually on the coach. I mean, freak injuries happen, but if you're If you're being stupid in practice and risking, you have to have some contact and you have to have some physicality, and they've had it. But you have to balance it. And so in the event that they get beat at the line of scrimmage on Saturday, you remember you can't have it both ways. You can't do we just didn't have a physical enough camp. Doesn't work. That doesn't fly, because if you have too physical of a camp, you suffer injuries and you end up playing people in game one that aren't ready to play. And they still might have to do some of that as we get into depth charts.
Speaking of those, it looks like Sanogo and Ruggs will start at linebacker on Saturday for Ole Miss. Ruggs, obviously the true freshman that frankly played more offense than defense, according to Chad Simmons last year as a senior in high school. He's playing that outside spot, and then Sanogo. So the two deep, not overly surprising for the most part, just because of injuries and stuff. Ken Webster was running third team, I think, but I mean otherwise it was pretty standard. And he said that maybe other than Matt Corral, every true freshman on that two deep would play immediately, and they weren't overly worried about the 4-game red shirt and how to handle that this week.
To me, it speaks volumes when you look at the depth chart. And again, it's a depth chart. Fans love depth charts.
It is literally just a requirement they put in the notes.
If fans love them, I promise you coaches are not hostage to them. Coaches make fun of them in August. Coaches walk up to people like me and you who get it and giggle about depth charts. Sometimes depth charts are put out as a message to players.
There's maybe a couple of those in there, yeah.
And there's a couple that I could see are possible.
Yeah.
If you take this depth chart at face value, and frankly, given so far what we've gotten from Matt Luke in a little more than a year of him being in charge of the program, I typically do. It's an indictment on some guys at that position. I thought Josh Clark would be higher than he is right now.
He just hadn't picked it up mentally at this point.
Dietrich Bean-Dukes does not fit this defense, his physical skill set. Dietrich Bean-Dukes is a 4-3 linebacker, and they're not running a 4-3. A freshman's going to start. Another freshman's going to play significant minutes. Sanogo didn't play much last year. He's essentially a first-year player. He's going to start. He has a grasp of the defense that some of the others don't have.
He's in there to direct traffic, and they like Ruggs' ability to move in space.
And they like Ruggs in there as long as Sanogo's with him to help him.
Because that's kind of the thing. They can't put – I mean, and I just position-wise, forgive me here, but like they can't put Ruggs and Clark out there together in the first game. Everybody's running around in circles. Like you got to figure that out. So
the follow, and I've said this pretty. I think I've complimented the kid enough to say this out loud. When you watch practice, and I'm a guy who does not go to practice and try to make 80. I'm not making fun of the people who do, but I'm not good enough. I'm not talented enough. I don't know the game well enough to go to a practice and make 80 observations. I don't. I'm out of my league if I try to do that. It doesn't work, and so I don't. I just kind of let practice happen, and I watch things, and every single practice, he jumped off the page. He's very athletic. He's long. He is instinctive. He is a football player. He's 205 pounds. He's lean. I do question how well he holds up. And so when people ask, what's the difference between Alabama and Ole Miss? Okay, here's the difference. I think if you told me this kid's an All-American in 3 years, I buy it. If you told me this kid ends up being one of the 2 or 3 best linebackers to ever come through Ole Miss, I buy it. At Alabama this year, he would have the benefit of a red shirt. He wouldn't be starting the opener. It doesn't make him less of a football player, but it tells you about their depth.
Go to the weight room, and I'll see you in a few months.
Alabama, if they had him in camp, would be looking at him going, look at that.
Yeah.
Ooh, we got a steal. That's a steal. Go see, what's his name, Cochran? Go see Coach Cochran for 6 months.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see you in the spring.
Yeah.
It's the difference.
Yeah. Go put 20 on and let's talk.
And then if injuries happen, they might have to change their plan. But at Alabama, they would have the benefit of going, dude, when you're 225, look out. Go put 20 pounds of quality muscle on. Take your time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they'd have him at practice, and they'd yell and scream and do all the stuff that they do. But deep down, they'd be going, look out. I had someone at Ole Miss say, man, this time next year, that kid. And I'm like, yeah, I can see it. Because this time next year, assuming he doesn't have some sort of a debilitating injury, Cavante Ruggs is going to have 20 to 25 pounds of muscle on him. And the athleticism will still be there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to be a beast. Because he'll hold up differently at 230 than he will at 205. The Hess kid, he's same deal. He's already like 220.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's 15 pounds, played 235, and he'll be able to hold up in there. They like him a lot. And he might end up having to play in somewhere in the season. He's not as far along as Ruggs is because he's not quite the athlete that Ruggs is, but he's a hell of an athlete. That's their thing. It's just interesting. It's an indictment on some of the other kids above them that it hasn't worked out. It does show you that they're going to play the best players. That stuck out to me. Some of the defensive line stuff stuck out to me. Some of the stuff in the secondary stuck out to me. I just look at their two deep on defense. What is the basics of their two deep, and I wonder where some of the people are getting the 9 wins from. It's difficult for me to find 9 wins looking at that defense, especially if you factor in some injuries.
We've complimented Matt at a lot of things, and he continued yesterday with just the truth and the realism. Not forget injuries. He always talks about those well. He's continued to do that. He even tried to put probable and questionable tags on people yesterday. But Texas Tech's going to try to run the ball a little more. We talked about that a good bit yesterday. How long do they stay with that? I don't know. Players, McGriff, Matt, nobody tries to sugarcoat it. They all just go, yeah, we were really bad at that last year, and they are going to absolutely test us until we stop it. They should. That's what I'd do. And we've got to prove we can actually stop it. I'm cautiously optimistic, but we'll see.
More than fair.
It's a strong answer in a lot of ways because a lot of people go, hey, that was last year. I don't want to talk about. No.
They were 124th in the country in rushing
I think
defense.
There's like 128 or something. So
if you watch film, and Texas Tech has, I mean they have. If you watch,
decent chance of that.
If you watch film, you go, hey, we're going to run at these guys. Because Speaks is gone. Haynes is gone off the edge. The kid Gates, who made 120 tackles last year, he's gone.
Very solid SEC linebacker.
Taylor Polk's in there all the time. He's gone. We're going to run at these guys. And especially if you take Wesley McGriff at his word. And I said this on the Texas Tech show yesterday, so I'll say it here. If Ole Miss finishes 124th in the country again in rushing defense this year, Wesley McGriff's going to get fired. He knows it. Everyone knows it. So when he says we're going to stack the box and make you beat us in the air, I actually believe that the plan is to stack the box and make people beat them in the air. Play corners one-on-one and hope for the best. Now, I talked to someone the other day who said, man, I don't know that their secondary is good enough to do that. We'll see. That's why when people say, what do you think? I don't know. I'd like to see a game.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes against A.J. Brown and D.K. Metcalf, they have not looked like they can handle one-on-one coverage. But they're not having to cover A.J. Brown against Texas Tech.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown would start anywhere. So would D.K. Metcalf. Frankly, so would DeMarcus Lodge. Yeah. All 3 of those guys go to Tuscaloosa and are immediately in Alabama's wide receiver rotation. Right now, this moment. A.J. Brown walks on their campus as the best receiver on their campus. Mm-hmm. And they have talented receivers who will play in the NFL. So I don't know. Let's see what it looks like when they play a normal team. But if you're matching up against Ole Miss and you're getting paid to beat Ole Miss, which is what is the deal effective Saturday, you're going to run at them. I'm running at them. Texas Tech's good up front. They've got a couple of good running backs, and they're going to run the football. And if Ole Miss stacks the box and has to put 8 people in the box and then 9 people in the box, well, then they're going to get one-on-ones and they're going to try to win. It's not people make this thing more complicated than it is. Wesley McGriff has no choice but to say we must be better against the run, because if you're not better against the run, you can't win.
Matt Luke said that basically Scotty Phillips is going to start and carry the mail all day. Said there could be some situations from some other guys. You got to give him some breaths, obviously, but it's his game. I think I don't think anybody else is necessarily even factoring in any meaningful way.
He's their best running back.
Yeah, just going to hand him the ball.
You know what you get with Eric Swinney? It's not Eric's fault.
Not the same guy that signed with Ole Miss.
He's very reliable. He's going to show up. He's going to be there. But he's had 2 pretty significant injuries, and he's not the same player.
Both to his lower half.
Yeah, not the same player. Gives you a lot of effort. Works his butt off. Great kid, but he's not the same player. And then I don't know what to expect with Tyler Knight. We'll see. I mean, they've indicated that he's going to get a shot here and there, but I don't look at him and think that's a guy that could hold up Dexter McCluster style. And maybe he is. And if he is, listen, people, when I say something like that, people think, oh, you're being negative. He would be an awesome story. So I certainly hope it happens, because, frankly, sometimes when you cover a football team year-round, you need good stories. Otherwise, it gets kind of monotonous. He would be an awesome story if he turned into a star.
Dexter was an elite running back from the standpoint of knowing how to protect himself, and that is necessary at that size.
And I think Dexter's bigger than Knight.
But he'd glance, and he could take blows certain ways. There was an art to that for Dexter.
Knowing how to get hit.
Yeah.
Because early in his career at Ole Miss, when he got hit really hard, he was getting killed, and he was missing time. And
yeah, I mean, he broke a rib or a collarbone or something on that kickoff return against Vanderbilt, I think, that day.
Yeah.
Like 2007 or something. But I don't know.
They like their star position. They talked about Montrell Custis and Vernon Dasher. They like Keidron Smith, and there he is, number 2 on the depth chart. They like Zedrick Woods. They like C.J. Moore. A lot of inexperience behind them. They like their tight end position. I think the offensive line is pretty fascinating. Ben Brown wins a job. He dominated from the day one of camp. He's the starter there. I think he's a future star at Ole Miss. That's my opinion. Alex Givens is there at right tackle. I know they are holding their breath.
He's got to stay healthy.
That he can hold up, because if he holds up, he's a really good player.
Yeah.
There are questions about whether he can hold up. Not his fault, just one of those deals.
He's had concussion issues.
And so behind him is Tony Gray. That's my point about depth. It's Ole Miss can't afford to have injuries. And it's a game that usually results in injuries.
We never really talk about it. Matt Luke appeared to really, really like Mac Brown as the punter. Seems to be cautiously optimistic on Luke Logan, who's kicked some in games before, but it's taken over full time. But he, if nothing else, he's every single time he almost kind of lights up about Mac Brown a little bit. Punter, but
I think he'll do well. I know he punted last year and punted an average in the 40s. He'll be fine. And I think Logan's good as long as it's not a big long distance.
Joe and Jones handling kickoffs. Elijah Moore starts out as the punt returner. A.J. Brown's been hurt. And frankly,
you can't put A.J. Brown back there.
Yeah, let somebody else catch a punt.
And the kickoff return game, the way that kickoffs are done
it's
now,
touchbacks almost every time.
Hardly ever anybody does it. So you just need somebody who's got reliable hands in the event that they do one of those.
Don't screw it up. Yeah.
Well, if they do one of the little pooch kick things, you need somebody who can
just
catch the football.
It's fair. He handled the Urban Meyer question well yesterday. Just said you try to learn from everything, likes their plan in place. Had a stock answer ready, so credit for that.
Yeah.
Wasn't caught off guard by it.
Yeah. Well, I asked him about it at media day when it was just starting to break. Is that something you talk about? And the answer is damn well better be.
Yeah. Yeah, every meeting you go, hey, good here, right? All right, here.
Reminder, don't hit girls. Ever. If you're in a bad relationship, get out of it.
Yeah. All right, podcast brought to you in part by Tyson Drugs. Tyson Drugs, they're in Holly Springs, 662-252-2321. They have a great app as well. They deliver wherever you are. When you go to the website, check in with them there in downtown Holly Springs. Also now in Oxford with G&M Pharmacy on South Lamar, and they deliver local in the Oxford area.
Be honest here, I don't have my ad copy in front of me. I tried to email it to me. It didn't work, so I'll just kind of go through these a little bit. If you're one of the advertisers, you're not getting screwed over. It's just one of those things. We're brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. They've got Kasasa. It's the absolute best cash checking account. With Kasasa, ATM fees nationwide are refunded, online bill pay, everything else using the OUB app. To learn more about OUB, call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. The podcast is also brought to you by 7 South Tailgating. It's not too late to set up all of your tailgate needs. It's very simple, in fact. Get in touch with Kyle Thornton and the people at 7 South. It's 7southtailgating.com. If you are coming up for one game, maybe you're coming up for all the games, maybe you're just coming up for league games, maybe your tailgate is really intricate, maybe your tailgate is super simple, maybe you use your own stuff, maybe you need to rent all your stuff. Whatever it may be, 7 South has a package for you. 7southtailgating.com. 10 years of service this year. If you've used 7 South once, you'll never tailgate without them again. We're also brought to you by the Oxford Park Commission. OPC Youth Basketball sign-up starts September the 4th. So that's a week from today. They had more than 600 kids last year. They're expecting similar numbers this year, ages 5 to 15. It's $50 a kid. It's great. You play there at the Oxford Rec Center, and it's games are played at night, occasionally on a Saturday. OxfordParkCommission.com. Don't forget that starts September the 4th.
Podcast is brought to you by Locker Stockers. They take the hassle out of stocking your locker or suite this game day season. You place the order. They handle purchase and delivery to your locker or your suite before game day at Vaught Hemingway, the Pavilion, or Swayze Field. So lock in a preseason price now. Just a couple more days for that preseason price. Give them a call at 662-586-1487 or info at lockerstockers.com. Kind of the last thing from Media Day yesterday, they said they were preparing for all three quarterbacks. However, I have a serious hunch that McLean Carter is the focus. McLean Carter. It's Carter McLean, right?
McLean Carter.
Is it McLean Carter?
Yeah.
I've really been screwing that up lately.
It doesn't matter.
It's the dude. I don't know. He played against Texas last
Frankly,
year.
if we're talking about him a whole lot late Saturday afternoon, it did not go well for the Rebels.
Think so?
Yeah.
McLean Carter throws for 330, and there's a serious problem on Saturday.
Yeah.
No doubt about that.
No doubt.
I guess in theory you could have mop-up time and be behind, but you know what I mean.
You know, what's the over on this?
67.5.
All the smart money's coming in on the under.
A lot is. Yeah, well, smarter money is being more even. Let's put it that way. The public is going, oh, my God, they're going to score 97 points. And the smart money is kind of half and half-ish.
I mean, 31-30 is a high-scoring game, and that's under.
34-31's under.
And I think that's kind of where we're headed. These people talking about 50-something to 40-something. I don't know. I don't know that I see that. Everybody else goes, take the over, and okay, maybe. I think Texas Tech's going to go in with a more conservative plan than that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at it here. I put this out on the board yesterday. Let me find it. Texas Tech is favored by 2 points in the game. The line is Tech by 2. The over/under 67.5. And then, okay, so let me break this down for people. 58% of the tickets are on Ole Miss, meaning more people are betting on Ole Miss to cover the 2 than they are Texas Tech. However, 67% of the money is on Tech covering the line. So the sharps, the big money, they are following the Red Raiders to this point. Now, a lot of them will wait till very late in the process, right before game time. We'll see some money percentages move because this has been a line open for months because first game of the season. So it's a little different, but so far the sharps are on the Raiders. The public is heavy on Ole Miss. 67.5, Tech by 2 right now in Vegas. So we'll have picks to you on Friday, by the way. We
Yes.
are switching days on that this year. We're doing picks on Friday. So if we pick a Thursday game, we'll just tell you what we picked and whether we've won or lost that at that time is the way I understand that.
Yeah, or we'll do if the Thursday pick, we might just do it on this show.
Well, I just meant content-wise.
Oh, yeah,
written content.
There aren't. I mean, the week that Ole Miss plays, we'll do it on Thursday. We'll do the whole pick. Let's move it up a day. That 1 week. We'll run the picks.
Well, and a lot of people move up and have different days that week.
Yeah,
so
we'll move the picks to Thanksgiving.
Let's actually go through lines a little bit. We haven't talked about that yet, have we? We did not do that on Monday like we typically do.
Real quick, because I'm really curious.
Yep.
What am I missing? Here's the quote from Thomas Mars on Santino
The A&M dude.
Martial, who
I-
was involved with A&M. He just got kicked off the Arizona team. Quote, as someone who helped lead the effort to advance diversity in the legal profession, I understand and respect the university's decision. On the other hand, as someone who's grown close to Santino and who knows the quality of his character, the depth of his faith, and the sincerity of his convictions, I'm heartbroken. What can be heard on the highlights video doesn't reflect the values or belief of the young man that I've come to know.
Yeah.
What did I miss?
One of the videos had him using a racial slur, I believe, at another player or teammate or someone. Is the way I understood it. I believe I'm right there.
Okay.
I just saw this in passing, but I'm
Is
pretty
that
sure
why he was kicked off the?
I haven't seen an actual reason. I mean, he was obviously involved with all the other stuff too, but yeah, I think that was part of it.
Stephen Godfrey just tweeted, regardless of what just happened, that Marchiol story is still fascinating. College football is a dirty business, the level of which most folks refuse to believe.
Well, no argument there. All right, let's look at lines a little bit. Your Big Ten game of the week, you're getting this on Thursday night.
Can't wait.
You're getting the Purdue Boilermakers hosting the Northwestern Wildcats.
And actually, I'll end up watching Cubs Braves, but I still will.
You will catch the very end of it at the bar. Well, actually, you don't know because we might go hang out with Jeffrey or something, so you don't know what you're going to do Thursday night.
Oh, that's true.
Jeffrey typically finds college football games when they are on. What?
No.
You good? All right.
No,
Purdue by 2.5 is our current line for that game. They opened at 3. It is at 2.5.
Where's the game?
Northwestern, it is in West Lafayette, Indiana. So,
always a really tough place to play, West Lafayette. If you go there.
They did beat the crap out of Missouri last year. Was that in Columbia or West Lafayette? It was like 35-7 at one time or something.
Yeah, I can't remember where that game was.
Yeah, I don't know either. Wake Forest and Tulane. I know that puts butts in seats on Thursday night. Wake by 6.5 if you're interested.
Sure.
Actually, we don't have a lot of lines yet on some games on Saturday. A lot of
those 1AA kind of games.
Yeah, sorry, that's what it is. I just scroll past a lot of them. Saw where Joe Moorhead making the very difficult decision to suspend Nick Fitzgerald for Stephen F. Austin on Saturday. Poor guy.
That'll show him.
Yeah, I know.
That'll teach him.
We really putting the onus on,
Tell you
on
what,
everything there.
That's how you teach a young man character.
I saw all the Twitter reactions yesterday. Wow! It's like, come on, guys, really?
Really?
Come on.
If you need him to beat Stephen F. Austin, you are overhyped.
I will give head-to-head or whatever they're called now, Super Talk Mississippi credit yesterday. They did have a Twitter poll on whether Michael Borky could play quarterback for State and then still beat Stephen F. Austin.
Well, no.
You could hand it off every time and maybe win the game. Maybe.
I think you'd have to have a little more than that.
Okay.
But
I don't know how bad Stephen F. Austin is, but
you're going to run the football and win the game. You're going to stop them defensively.
That's what I'm saying. They're probably not going to score much no matter what you do. So
you just need to make sure. But no, I mean, if you put –
So you don't think that whoever the worst FCS team is, and if you played quarterback for Alabama, you couldn't win the game playing quarterback? They wouldn't score. So
well, but that's what I'm saying is you would still have to have someone who could get under the center.
Well, yeah, you'd have to
take
execute
the snap, pivot, hand it off.
Yeah.
You'd
run some tosses and stuff.
Yeah,
and
so it would be problematic.
Okay.
That's my thing when people go, any Joe Schmo.
you would need some prep time for sure.
Yeah, I mean, could I go line up at Alabama at quarterback, and we being Alabama, Roll Tide, could we go beat Stephen F. Austin? I mean, probably, but I have a feeling what they would do is they would pull me out and put Harris in and run the Wildcat and go that route.
Oh, then you would win the game.
Then we would win the game, and I could say, hey, I started a game that we won, Roll Tide, bitches.
Okay, fair enough.
I'd go lead the $1 Million Band.
Just curious.
I do like their dance girls, their outfits. They're nice.
Do you really?
Mm-hmm.
I like when they become an elephant on the field, the band, and then
Yes.
walk with the trunk moving with the elephant. That's
That
pretty
is cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the better ones. Like
Some bands can't do stuff like that. That one can.
that's a Jeffrey topic. We'll get to that later in the week.
Jeffrey's the only person I've ever worked with who not obsessed, but would watch the halftime show.
Pointed it out every game.
And really deliver the criticism.
Yeah. Made people very uncomfortable at times.
He was right, though.
Lane Kiffin going to Norman to open his season this weekend.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, a 21-point favorite over the Fighting Kiffins this weekend. It's a big number.
It's a big number.
Florida Atlantic's not winning, but big number.
No, it's a big number, though.
Houston favored by 24.5, so I really understand why they refused to put a depth chart out yesterday for Rice. I mean, because that's holding state secrets, guys. Good job. Who's the coach over there now? Major Applewhite?
Yeah.
Bless him. I hate the really serious coach who thinks he's working at the Pentagon. It's driving me crazy.
You're right. The guy that treats football like it's national security drives me insane.
No, we can't put a depth chart out. It's going to affect Rice. Okay.
Yes.
Ohio State plays Oregon State. God bless them.
Go Beavers.
Go Beavers. Let's see.
That will be one of the things that unites our country. 49 states out of Ohio every Saturday. No matter whether you're for Trump, against Trump, whether you think the country's going to hell or you think the country's being made great again, for that one Saturday, every Saturday for 3 hours and 30 minutes or so, we are all going to unite.
All anti-Buckeye.
And cheer against the damn Buckeyes. As a group, as a nation.
As a country, we are going to pull for James Franklin.
Oh, you're damn right we are.
Wow.
Yeah.
Who's potentially just as bad as Urban.
We're all going to watch Michigan, Ohio State and go, that Harbaugh, he's insane. I am.
I'm still having a hard time there, but you're not. You've completely shifted.
Very simple. Very simple. One guy goes
one dude's a cartoon character, one guy's an evil human.
One dude does the whole IHOP thing and does the pants thing and wears the hat and is a goofball and all that stuff, and the other guy covered up a wife beater who could have easily.
Not the same thing.
Not the same deal.
Yeah. Kent State, an opponent of Ole Miss later this season, they are 16.5-point underdogs in Champaign, Illinois this weekend. Must not be a real good year going on for the Golden Flashes. All right, fine. SEC games. Texas, by the way, a 13.5-point favorite at Maryland with all they've got going on right now. Vanderbilt is a 3-point favorite at home against Middle Tennessee State this weekend. Kyle Shermer, not a bad quarterback, actually. They're trying to replace Raph Webb. Clicking on down a little bit. Washington and Auburn, that game's at 2:30. Auburn is a 1.5-point favorite over the Washington Huskies in Atlanta, I believe, or somewhere. Where are they at? Are they in Atlanta? No, Louisville, Alabama's in Atlanta. Where's Washington, Auburn?
It's in Atlanta.
It is Atlanta, too? Okay.
Yeah.
So Auburn 1.5. What's your early thought there? You like Auburn?
Kind of like Auburn. I've had people who know football really, really well tell me that Washington is going to be very good and that the Pac-12 is better this year and that watch out for Washington in that game. That is give them both credit. It would be much easier for both of them to schedule Sisters of the Poor this week.
Yeah, one of them is having a whole big difference to their season immediately.
Well, the winner of this deal
is in real good shape.
Is in great shape if they can take care of business.
Yeah. South Carolina opening up against Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers. They are 30-point favorites at home against them. They get Georgia next week. That's a Week 2 game in Columbia, South Carolina. West Virginia is in Charlotte this week playing the Tennessee Volunteers, who are not back. Will Greer against the Volunteers. West Virginia by 10 is the line on that one. 10 points for the West Virginia.
Lay them.
Laying them? You going to lay them this weekend?
Oh, yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
All right. Just kind of
For
curious.
whatever reason, I don't like the Vols.
Well, we've had that consistent thought.
I don't know what it is. They've never done anything to me. I just don't like them.
Could be just a sneaky, competitive, kind of fun game a little bit. Washington State at Wyoming this weekend, just from a football standpoint. Kind of throw it around a little bit. Washington State, my 2 is the line in that game. Let's see. Michigan, Notre Dame this weekend. Really the opener? I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Pick'em is that. Is they Pick'em in South Bend, Indiana. Louisville is playing Alabama in Atlanta.
It's like 24 points.
It is 24.5. Bobby Petrino telling one of the touchdown clubs of the day they were going to win the game on Saturday. So we'll see what happens.
They're not going to win the game on Saturday.
They might cover the spread, maybe.
They might. Maybe.
I hadn't decided what I'm doing there yet.
Alabama's going to be really good.
It's a lot of points.
It is a lot of points.
Then on
And Saban early sometimes likes to struggle.
Then on Sunday you've got Miami at LSU, or Miami and LSU playing. That is at 6:30 Central Time, and that is Miami by 3.5. Mark Richt by 3.5 against LSU right now.
Of all the games this weekend
You like
that I'm
one the
not
most.
paid to cover,
Yeah.
that's the one I'm interested to watch
Why?
because LSU's fascinating. If you like drama, LSU is potentially a really dramatic story. Like Auburn-Washington's a hell of a football game. Whoever loses has plenty of time to recover. I mean, if you told Auburn, hey, you lose this game, they don't go, oh, that's it, ball game. They can still win the SEC. And if they win the SEC, a loss to Washington's not keeping them out of the playoff. The same for Washington. They could still make the playoff with the loss to Auburn. LSU loses to Miami. Yeah, all your title stuff's alive, but, man, the narrative around your program changes. What if Burrow looks like crap and LSU loses?
Oh, I know.
Flip side, what if LSU's offense looks good? Because their defense is salty. What happens then? It's fascinating. LSU, to me, is one of the 5 most fascinating stories in the country.
I just don't give them much chance. I just can't.
No, I think Miami's going to beat them. I think Mark Richt has a good program there. Might not win championships, but if Mark Richt does at Miami what he did at Georgia, which is what I expect, they're going to be pretty happy with him in the long haul. And that same performance will be worth an extra win a year in the ACC.
Yeah, Joe Burrow named the starting quarterback yesterday.
Shocking. It was a shocking development. Breaking news. Shocking. I saw some of the LSU media breaking. Stop. Man, come on. When they brought him in day one, he was the quarterback. We did it. Hey, in fairness, we all played along with that Chad Kelly thing. We played along less than others, and it pissed Freeze off, I think. When it's like, well, I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. I do. When you made the decision to bring Chad Kelly in, he was the starter that moment.
The Burrow's dad is from Amory.
I heard that. Corey Clark was telling me that.
Yeah, Jimmy Burrow from Amory.
Yeah.
I think he ended up in Nebraska playing. I don't think Ole Miss offered. I think his brother ended up playing at Ole Miss maybe, but
Burrows?
well, the dad.
Dads.
Back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
I've learned since my time in Mississippi that damn near everything goes through Amory.
Is that what you're figuring out?
Some way.
Is that what you're getting?
There's lots of ties to Amory. Always. I don't know why. It just does. Just the way the circle of life moves.
Just the way your circle is moving, maybe. I'll just turn it back on.
That's okay.
Jimmy Burrow from Amory. Kid's dad. Anyway.
Want to hear a little interesting thing?
Why not?
So the Ricketts family, which owns the Chicago Cubs, they're also in the process of buying AC Milan, which is a Serie A football team, soccer team. And the Cubs are also basically announcing that they're going to create their own network when the TV rights expire at the end of next season. Some talk that they will package the Cubs as their own network and be able to show AC Milan and show some Serie A games to make the package more attractive.
That's interesting.
the Cubs might end up. I know a lot of people out there don't like the Cubs. I get it. Frankly, I don't like new Cubs fans either. I get it. The Cubs are going to be the first major league team that really challenges MLB's arcane blackout rules. The Cubs are. What I'm hearing is the Cubs are bracing up for a legal fight against MLB's blackout rules.
I hope they win.
Everyone should.
Yeah, everyone should pull for that.
Even if you're a Cardinal fan and you put the voodoo curse on the Cubs day in and day out, you should hope they win that one.
Yeah. Follow with our final segment of the show in a second. First, I'll tell you, Stacey Berry, the name to know in Memphis Realty. She's a Keller Williams agent looking to help you find your special place to call home in downtown, midtown, Germantown, or Collierville. Born and raised in the Bluff City, she knows the dynamic and unique intricacies the city has to offer, and is going to put you in the 901 today. So if you're a first-time home buyer looking to downsize, Stacey will evaluate and determine your current home value and sell it quickly for top dollar. Contact the Berry Home Team today. Let Stacey unlock Memphis for you. 901-481-6420. Stacey Lane Berry at KW.com and the BerryHomeTeam.com. That's Stacey with an E, Berry, the name to know in Memphis.
Guests will join us all week on the Billy's Pecans hotline. It's Billy'sPecans.com. Go to the site. We'll have a promo for you here really soon, probably as early as next week, I'm thinking. But go on to their site, check it out. All the chocolates, the pecans, the Cheese Krispies, the coffee cakes, and more. Perfect for your tailgates, for your road trips as you get started. And be listening next week for a special promo from Billy's Pecans. You can take advantage of that. We're also brought to you by Megan Phillips with LAH Real Estate. She's the person to call for all your real estate needs in the Birmingham area. With almost a decade of experience, Megan's knowledge and expertise can help you buy or sell your home today. So please visit her website at meganmphillips.com. That's MEAGANMphillips.com. Or call Megan at 205-602-7929. I think that's got mine covered. There's one. Don't forget, Rebel Nation 2018 is the year of the fan. Ole Miss Athletics wants to showcase your stories and recognize you, the Ole Miss fan base. Exciting prizes and experiences throughout the year will be featured on omyearofthefan.com and updated often, so be sure to visit omyearofthefan.com.
Yeah, my like a computer messing every bit of it up. It's all right. Figure it out. You're already starting working on picks and everything at you over there. Look,
I'm way ahead. We're working on a mailbag. Mailbag's going to run sometime tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow? Is that what you're doing?
Finalizing something with the sponsor. Don't know that I'm going to have that finalized by tomorrow, but I'm going to run the mailbag tomorrow anyway. And
yeah, who says you're bought and paid for? I mean, come on.
I mean, I am bought and paid for. I've had people say, "Man, y'all really kind of sold out." I'm like,
well, sold out is really not the right word. That would indicate
always go.
That would indicate getting
that they
marching orders.
Marching orders.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
like, no.
not the same.
I'm like, that's what I always say. No, I'm a capitalist. But no one tells us what we can or can't write.
No,
at all.
We don't even really get griped at by rivals very often, which is.
You will enjoy Neil's picks this week.
I will.
Yes, there are some changes to Neil's picks.
You're talking about me or the public? Who are you talking to?
You, Chase, will enjoy them.
Oh, me specifically?
Yeah.
Why?
You just will. It's the most serious thing that we do each week.
It is.
It is the thing that we put the most amount of effort and work.
It's really a think piece when you look at it.
Lots of research, lots of thinking. I mean, I have an entire group of interns who do nothing but Neil's picks. It is an absolute.
It reminds me of that scene in The Social Network when Zuckerberg's character has like all the different computer programmers just beating on it, 24 hours a day and trying to hack and everything. That's what it reminds me of.
It's a lot like that.
Yeah.
Man, it's intense, and it's always exciting this time of year to see really 8 months of hard, intensive work come to fruition in the form of picks.
Everybody hit at least about 55 to 58% last year. Pretty good year overall for the group and Neil's picks.
We did, and then I had a dominant bowl performance.
Did you?
That was really epic.
Based on who might actually give a crap? Was that the
a little bit?
Was that the primary?
I don't want to go into our algorithms right now on the program. I just will say that it was intense. There was a lot of thought.
Basically, the Mike Detillier of bowl picks, and we'll move forward with.
Yep. I mean, it would be one thing. I mean, you could say we phone it in, but I know there's pressure because I know how many people read it. I know all the freshmen read it. I've learned that.
Players' parents read it.
Players' parents read it. I mean, what if Mr. and Mrs. Tamu are reading it? And this is how they get ready for game day. We have our own separate, I would say office, but it's not even an office. It's an estate that's dedicated to nothing but Neal's picks.
We'll close it with this. This was on the message board this morning. Made me feel quite old. You probably saw this post. So the Wonder Years TV show. 1968 to 1974 was the time period that show followed.
Okay.
The show premiered in 1988. So by that formula, if Wonder Years premiered today, it would follow the years 1998 to 2004.
Wow.
Yeah, same time gap. 98, I was a freshman in high school.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, 98 to 04.
1998, I was on my first year on the Auburn beat.
Yeah, that would have been what Wonder Years would follow, where it debuted.
Sammy
today.
Sosa and Mark McGuire were hitting steroid.
Have you seen a lot of Wonder
runs.
Years?
Oh, yeah. Fred Savage. And
Yeah, but I mean, you were in college when it came out. So
yeah.
Ish.
I liked it. It was a good show.
See, I called it on the Nick at Night reruns 10 years later.
No, I remember when it came out, network TV.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen them all. Actually, I think I've said this in the podcast. I've got the, the box set wasn't available for years because of music rights. They used all that good music that you couldn't buy the rights for today to put in the box set because of licensing reasons and the amount that would cost. So I have a box set that was bootlegged from China or somewhere where they recorded it off the ABC Family or the Nick at Night or whatever it was onto DVDs and then sold them on eBay back in the States. So I have some bootleg copy of the Wonder Years somewhere.
You are a criminal.
I am a criminal. Yes. I gripe about stolen passwords, and I'm buying the Wonder Years off the internet. So
Unbelievable.
really,
Did you see where Netflix and Hulu, and they're getting ready to crack down on passwords?
what are they gonna do?
I don't know.
I'd like for whatever they do them to fill us in over here.
Yeah, that would be good. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I did see they were stopping their DVD service here in a year or two. I did not realize they were still doing a DVD service, but apparently they are.
That's like every time
Netflix.
I pass by one of the Redbox deals,
Yeah.
I always think, wow. And it wasn't that long ago that
It was the
Redbox was
thing.
cool. And now I think people still do that.
These kids your kids will never rent a movie.
No.
You go down to, the really local ones, you went down to it, and it was like the library card when you got the thing out and signed your name for the day or whatever on the deal.
Dude, I remember when getting touch tone on your phone was a big deal.
Yeah.
Because I'd go to my grandmother's house, and it was the 2, 5, 5. Took forever to dial the damn number.
Yeah, kids will never rent a movie.
And now kids just say, hey.
There is one Blockbuster still open in the United States.
Is that right?
One. It's in Bend, Oregon. It's a locally owned dude, and he says, I'm hanging in. Bend, Oregon, the only Blockbuster left.
I worked at a video store some in high
Did you
school.
really?
I did. National Video.
It's probably not the worst high school job in the world. Not much to that one.
Wasn't bad. Wasn't bad. It was pretty easy.
We had a local place called Ray's Run a Movie, if I remember correctly, and then we had a movie gallery were our two. Might have had a Blockbuster at one point, but I don't remember.
Mid to late 80s, it was pretty intense. I mean, there were some like Thursday nights, Friday nights at the video store were busy.
Well, you got the movies, and later on you could get the video games where you tried to beat the game in the 2 days that you
That was
had.
before Netflix and chill. That was National Video and chill.
Yeah, go get the VHS or the DVD and hope for the best, right?
Yeah, and they'd come back. It was ruined, skipped, stuff like that.
Be kind, rewind.
Yeah, be kind, rewind. Yeah.
I was always really bad at taking movies back on time. I paid so many late fees growing up because I was terrible at taking.
Well,
them
and
back
I
in the day.
remember when you would charge the late fee,
Yeah.
people like, "Oh man, come on!" I'm like, "Dude, what do you want me to do? It's my
Not
job,
your policy.
not my deal."
And then I remember I think Movie Gallery went to you could have it for 5 days.
Oh,
That was like big. It went from the 1 day or 2 day to no, you got a 5-day
Yeah.
rental. Now that'd annoy you though when you go in to get a movie. You know they didn't have but like 3 copies of it, and you go up there and you're like, hey, where's whatever? And they go, well, it's still 4 days out on all of them. You go, gotta wait till Thursday.
yeah.
Now you don't have to wait 2 seconds. Just pop it on the TV, stream that bad boy from 10 different locations. It might even be on Hulu or Amazon Prime for free these days. I guess technically you're paying for it, but
Yeah, I love the guy. This is the guy that I love as we finish. I love the guy that goes, I will not pay for content. Really? Do you have television? Well, yeah, you paid for content.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's different. You said you would never pay for
That
content.
ESPN football game you watched, you paid about $14 for that bad boy this month.
You paid for that. Just that's cool. Do you watch the news? Well, yeah, I watch CNN. You paid for that. You absolutely paid for that.
Yeah. All right, more as the week goes on. We'll have another podcast tomorrow. We will be with Mr. Wright at Funky's on Thursday night, 5 o'clock or so for that. Also, Funky's opening an hour before game time on Saturday, quickly for a little watch party get-together there. I think they're doing red and blue daiquiris for $4, and then they'll have some other specials as well at Funky. So, again, come back tomorrow. Hopefully my computer is fixed. That would be great, and we'll talk to you then.